What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but apparently WWE wants to move their PLEs from Saturdays back to Sundays. And I've seen people tweet about it all night, post about it all night, post videos about it all night. And quite a few people are pretty upset about the possibility of this move. And I'm not mad at you guys at all. I completely understand. But if you ask me how I feel about this right now, I don't really feel anything about it right now because I don't take tweets and article postings at face value because sometimes people gas it up to try to get engagement. Sometimes people misconstrue some things that they've read or heard, or maybe on a positive side, some people may be actually telling the truth 100% in these articles or in these postings. But either way, I would rather hear it from the horse's mouth. And thankfully, we got a video of Dana White allegedly saying what people have been saying online. But before we get into the video itself, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And also, happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there, because if you guys didn't exist, we wouldn't exist, okay? Let's get into this. That rhymes.
Where you guys do the UFC and Power Slap in the same weekend in the same city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to happen. We already have those dates set up right now. Yeah, where Power Slap goes Friday and UFC goes Saturday.
And last one for
me.
And
then you're going to see Friday Power Slap, Saturday UFC, and Sunday WWE. I mean, you'll start seeing that stuff.
He said it. He just said it. He just said it. Not jokingly, this makes sense because it's on brand for Cody Rhodes. I like to call him the Super Saiyan pastor. So for the pay-per-view to have to be on a Lord's Day, to have the pastor work on a Lord's Day, it makes sense. But I didn't know people still watch Power Slap. I thought, that kind of died down a little bit. I've only seen the highlights online of people getting knocked out, like the lady who got slapped so hard, she thought she was Sonic the Hedgehog, so she started rolling on the ground. But all jokes aside, in all seriousness, I came away from what he said with a lot more questions than anything else. I know he said it's going to happen, but he didn't exactly say when it's going to happen. And I'm wondering, will WWE PLEs permanently get moved to Sunday until they change it? Or will it only be on Sundays when they have this TKO weekend, right? When Power Slap is on Friday and UFC's on Saturday, will that be the only weekend that WWE PLEs will land on the Sunday? And will all three events be in the same building? Will they make a weekend pass out of it? And why would they do this? Do they not want UFC and WWE to overlap, or are they trying to make the most money out of it? Which I think that definitely got to be the case. And especially with WWE going back to Sundays, are they concerned about battling with Sunday Night Football when they come back around? And I get it. I know WWE PLEs were on, or pay-per-views were on Sundays, and they did battle out with Sunday Night Football. This isn't anything new, but I would think that they would want to see the best numbers possible without any type of interference, because there's a higher probability that a lot of WWE fans are also fans of the NFL than, people who are fans of UFC are also fans of WWE. So I'm wondering about that part of it. And the other thing I was thinking about is that, remember when Elimination Chamber was in Australia, and here in the States it was like at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. If a concern of theirs is two of their products overlapping under TKO, UFC and WWE, if the PLE is at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, would WWE still have to move over to Sundays? That would be an interesting thing to find out. I just would like to know a lot more information than just this statement here. But if ultimately the question is really, would people rather see it happen on Saturdays or on Sundays when it comes to the PLEs for WWE? So if you ask me about that, I feel like Saturday is a lot more convenient for people, and for so many different reasons. For one, when you think about the people across the pond, right? If the PLE happens on Sundays, that's going to happen on Monday mornings in their time. So guess what? They're at work. They got to try to not get fired and look at their phones and try to watch it. It'll inconvenience them a lot, as opposed to it being on Saturdays. Because if they don't work on Sundays, they can watch it Sunday morning. And if they do work on Sundays, they can come home from work and actually watch it that way. So I think that's more convenient for them. And that's the reason why I never complained about the time with Elimination Chamber, because they deal with this on a weekly basis for the entire year. They get probably one show or two shows out of the entire year where they don't have to experience that. So salute to those fans over there for doing it. Now, if it lands on a Saturday or a Sunday, watching it from home, for me, either way, I would definitely watch it regardless. Again, I would prefer for it to be on Saturdays, other than for the people across the pond. For people here, and I know this is first world problems, I think it's better for it to happen on Saturday, because after you have a long night watching it, or you're going there in person to watch it live, at least you have a Sunday left, a little cushion before you go into work and have to deal with your psychotic boss, your crazy coworkers. At least you got an extra day to kind of, breathe, do your errands, and hang out with the family and do what you have to do before you get back into work, for people who don't work on the weekends. Now, if it goes back to Sundays, which, it is what it is, to complain about having to go there. Other people in other countries don't have the opportunity to really go to these shows as much as people here do. But if we want to talk about first world problems and inconveniences, if you go there live, you stay there late, and this is what happened to me in 2019 when I went to Survivor Series. That's when I went to the Allstate Arena. It took a long time to get out of that arena. I lived in a part of Chicago at the time where it was only street parking. So the later you go there, the harder it is to find a parking spot. And sometimes you can stay out there for an hour and a half looking for a parking spot. And that's definitely what happened. And I didn't get home till probably about 11:30, and I had to get up at like 4:30 to get ready for work. So I barely got any rest. Again, first world problems. I get it. But if we want to talk about convenience, that's just the example I want to use. I think Saturday will work better for us, for the people across the pond, and for the people at home. But at the end of the day, what can we do? We really can't control this. They're doing what they need to do. They probably have thought about the revenue and all those things like that. I personally would prefer Saturday over Sunday, but it's completely out of my hands. So what do you guys think? Would you guys rather see it on Saturdays or on Sundays? Which one worked better for you guys? Let me know in the comment section what other questions that you have about this whole situation, because we really didn't get much information at all as far as details, right? We didn't get really any details. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Salute. Peace. Have a good day.